her toddler daughter were murdered, and it really disturbed the community and myself in particular so much that I started up a sister space for black women, African heritage women and girls who are affected by domestic and sexual abuse. So that's how I began my journey. I didn't wake up and think I wanted it. I started as a registrar, and before that a school teacher, secondary school teacher. And I've ended up fighting for the rights of African heritage women and girls, in particular from the grassroots community and the Rasta community, because we seem to be invisible in plain sight.
Okay. Right, so we're going to go into the Rasta community later on in the show, because we've got some sensitive issues that we're going to talk about.
Absolutely.
Right, so domestic abuse, right? So you're saying now that a lot of women are being abused, a lot of our women are being abused. Give me some of the an example of one of the cases that you've encountered.
I will do that, but first I want to qualify what we see as domestic abuse, or what is recognized as domestic abuse. It is not only a physical thing, it's not only the act of violence, it's verbal abuse, it's emotional, it's financial, that's where we're going when we talk about abuse, where somebody can be disrespected or something withheld in a bullying manner, where there's fear and intimidation, where they feel unsafe. One person's actions towards another, that is domestic abuse, and it covers a wide spectrum. So as I said, where people think, oh, I'm not being abused because he's not hitting me, it doesn't have to be physical. It takes all sorts. It really does. An example, oh my gosh, we have so many, because since we started Sister Space, and we're not funded, and ironically we're based in the borough of Hackney, and we are the only people who don't have a subsidized venue. In other words, there are organisations from the travelling community, the Asian community, the Jewish community. They have venues which are expected to support their needs. However, when it comes to African heritage people, it's expected that anybody can deal with us, and that's not acceptable. We have our own history and our own journey here, and so when we do go through these abuses, we need to see ourselves reflected with people who look like us or understand us. Other people cannot speak for us. We have to speak for ourselves. Our voices must be heard.
Okay, all right. So those who are listening to Blessed Radio, and we're talking about domestic abuse and thing. All right. So this domestic abuse, it goes both ways, because I will talk up for some of the man them, because I know some of the man them get some abuse by women verbally, yeah, and they just take it, you understand, for the sake of peace, you know what I mean? And I've seen some women talk to man away. I'm not saying that they all deal with this, yeah, because we're looking at both sides, male and female. It's not just the man them that's doing all the harm as well. The woman them, they
talk. You're giving this for those who can see me. He's giving this sign which indicates that they chat, or they're talking, or they may be
saying something, saying things that don't realize that the man is we don't really like them sound. Okay. You know what I mean?
Let me make it clear that abuse is wrong, regardless of who the perpetrator is, whether they be male or female, male to male, female to female. Domestic and sexual abuse is wrong. So let's be clear about that. But what I need for you to know is that the vast majority of abuse is male to female, and the vast majority of female to male is usually verbal. Not that it makes it acceptable or any better, but we deal with African heritage women and girls because those are the ones that are dying and being seriously hurt and being put in mental institutions and committing suicide on on a really high level. The reason we're not hearing about this is because, unfortunately, as most people would know, when it comes to the African heritage community, nobody outside of our community really seems to care. So you don't get to hear about these things, but it's happening, and it's happening in very large volumes. And we really need to now talk about these things. We're going to have a very deep and
thing.
Personal conversation. And I got to say at this point that I'm not looking for any friends. I'm not looking for any enemies, but I'm not looking for any friends. So there's going to be some things that I say that brothers may not like. Most brothers actually agree, and they're very supportive, but you'll find that there's a few who, if you want to excuse this kind of behavior, and I'm telling you, it's not acceptable, and it will not be tolerated. You have no right to abuse another human being. I also need to say that being in a relationship with somebody, whether you're married to them or not, does not give them right over you. And when we're talking about rape and sexual abuse, and remember, it's not always the same thing. Not because you're in a relationship with somebody or you've been to bed with them before, does that mean you have an automatic right. Because if you approach a woman and you want sex and she says no and you go ahead, let me be clear about that. That is rape. Okay? That is rape. So we're going to be talking in detail about rape and sexual abuse, because these are conversations that we need to have.
So hold on. So what happened then if the woman just rush in upon the man and the man said, no, ain't that, what's that?
Everybody has a right to
What would you
say,
call that?
I'm telling you what it is. Everybody, man or woman, girl or boy, has a right to say no and be heard. So if it is that a female is sexually abusing a male, that is 100% not okay. It's abuse. It's absolutely abuse. But there again, when you talk about percentages, over 90% or higher of sexual abuse, especially within the African heritage community, is male to female. Okay, so we need to be looking at these numbers, and we need to be addressing these, because I would go as far as to say that almost everybody knows somebody who's either been through or has themselves experienced domestic, rape or sexual abuse in one form or another.
Okay, so what would you say then to the people that's been through this trauma? What would you say? Because this conversation is not an easy conversation to be dealing with. You know, it's a very delicate conversation because you know what I mean, flashback and all kind of things. Sometimes people bury things in the past and want to forget about it. Some people have to deal with it, and some people are strong enough to override it. You know what I mean? But I don't really want to go into digging up, what do you call it, opening a can of worms.
I think sometimes that can of worm needs to be opened, yeah, because this is how we prevent further damage to individuals and communities. We need to be speaking out against what we know is happening. We are often taught not to air our dirty linen in public, and my view is that we must speak about these things, because we know that we also have a high volume of child abuse in our community, and nobody wants to hear these things, but they're definitely happening. I'm telling you that they are, because since we opened the Sista space at the end of 2015, I cannot tell you how many women, girls and men have disclosed some terrible things, and oftentimes the abuser is walking free as we speak, because we don't disclose, we don't report, we don't trust the system. So these, let me remain polite, these people are free to continue to abuse and abuse and abuse, and they're not held accountable because we don't talk. Well, we need to be talking. And I'm also going to say that some of the abusers are artists there are community leaders, they're the ordinary man on the street, they're the church people. Abusers come in all forms and they walk everywhere, and they're usually very good at hiding who they are. And often a victim or a survivor won't speak of the abuse because they don't believe that they'll be believed.
Okay,
yeah?
so what's the sometimes you have to look at the consequences of talking. I'm saying that they mustn't talk, yeah, but suppose there's a woman now with like 3 or 4 children and she's going through a domestic abuse. Where does the abuse come from?
Well, you know,
right?
Let us call it what it is.
Yeah, so she must probably saying that if she does something, it might affect the children. Maybe the father's not like that with the children, but just with the mother. You know what I'm saying?
But my question to you is, do you really believe for a second that the fact that the mother is being abused is not affecting the children? Absolutely it is.
It's affecting the children, you know what I mean? But I'm just saying sometimes a lot of women hold back because of the children.
Well, I think education is the key there. What Sister Space do is we have conversations with survivors or victims, and we explain the process. If you're reporting domestic or sexual abuse or rape, we can tell you what is going to happen when you report the abuse. We can take you to... Most people think the system is going to come in and take our children. I don't want to break up the family. There's 1,000 reasons why they don't report. Specifically in the Rastafarian community and the grassroots community, we don't go outside of our community because we have no trust for the people outside the community. But my thing is this: we don't want to go outside and we don't want to talk to Babylon or the system, but we're protecting abusers who are going on to cause further abuse and destroy our community. So many sisters have committed suicide, have attempted suicide, and can I give you an example, because you asked me for one earlier.
Yeah.
There was a woman, she was, you know, she's in her 50s, and we'd helped her some weeks previously. So she came to the Sister Space, and she came to say thank you, and she came to say goodbye. So we said, okay, that's great. You're saying goodbye. Are you moving to a new property? Have you been rehoused? She said, no, I'm going to kill myself. And this is what she came into the Sister Space and said. And she was absolutely serious. And I asked her, you know, what do you mean you're good? She says, when I leave here, I'm going to go and walk in front of a bus. And she had every intention of committing suicide. She just wanted to say thank you and goodbye. I don't think sometimes that people understand fully the consequences of being a victim of domestic abuse, rape, or sexual violence, or other abuse. It's something that will never go away. It will always be there, but it manifests differently for different people. Some people can keep it buried for years. Some people, it plays on their mind and they end up in mental institution. Some people decide to check out because they can't live with it. It has so many different consequences. Every case is different, but every case is equally as important. And we need to stand behind survivors and say, listen, we're going to stand with you. We have a community that sometimes we gossip too much. And people don't want their personal business out there. So who do they go to? Who do they talk to? If I tell my friend and she got to tell her next friend and she got to, next thing you know, everybody know my business and I'm abused further. So what we need to do is be a responsible community. We need to support our families within our community. But most importantly, the brothers need to speak up against other brothers who think it's okay to discipline their women. Now that kind of brother, we're gonna have a falling out today. Okay, we're gonna have a big falling out today, because if you think for 1 second that you have any right at all to put your hand on,
calm down.
No, we're not coming down. No, we're going in today.
Okay.
And this is for them. Yeah, I want to put some words on you today. Because if you put your hand on a woman, you are a coward. Okay? You are an absolute coward. Because only a coward would abuse somebody who may not be able to protect themselves. Only a coward would do that. Yeah? And I'll tell you what a real man would do. A real man would walk away from a situation. Because, yeah, sometimes we can really get, you know, the the thing that you did earlier. Sometimes we may get on your nerves. Fine. Everybody has a choice. Walk away.
You can walk away.
Walk away. You have no reason. There is no excuse for you ever to put your hand on somebody else. Never. And if you think, okay, somebody, you want sex with someone and they didn't say no, did they say yes? Because if you go ahead and have sex with somebody and you say, well, she never said no. Let me tell you how the law stands now, and this is what I love, and this is what you need to hear and hear well. The absence of no does not mean the presence of yes. Let me say that again. The absence of no does not mean the presence of yes. Not because somebody didn't verbally say the word no. It doesn't mean that they've consented to sex. And if you go ahead and have a sexual relationship with somebody without consent, you are a rapist.
Hold on. So that
you are a
rapist.
rapist.
If a person don't say no or don't say yes,
Yes.
it's still the same thing.
Okay, the law here is very clear, yeah? You can know when someone is consenting to sex. If you're an adult and a thinking adult, you will know by their response and by their behavior that they are willing participants. If you approach somebody and they show any signs of not responding or inviting, or you will know you're not stupid, or are you? Yeah, but stupidity is no defense in law. So even if you're stupid, you're still a rapist. You're just a stupid rapist. Yeah, the fact is, you are, if you don't understand when someone's not consenting, really you shouldn't be out on your own. So the point that you need to know is consent is the difference between you going to jail for rape or sexual assault and you not. So be clear. Just be very clear. So many brothers are inside because they thought she was okay with it. She didn't say no. Did she say yes? Did she respond to you? Did she, you're a bit more bright than that. So there is no defense. You're going to jail, and that's where you should be. If you're raping and abusing, we don't need you in our community. Be clear about that. And I don't really mind if you don't like what I'm saying, because I don't really want a rapist to like me. I'm okay with that. I told you we're going in today. We're gonna, somebody needs to be speaking these things. We need to be talking about that. We need brothers to be saying to other brothers, your behavior is not okay. It is not acceptable. You have a good brethren, yeah? And you know that your brethren heavy with his hand or fast with his hand, or and it takes different forms. Some says, I didn't punch her, I didn't slap her, I just pushed her. Go to the judge and say you just pushed her and I'll visit you, send me a visiting order. Go to the judge. From you put your hand or even verbally or your you have to be clear what abuse is. Yeah, and if you don't know how to maintain a relationship without being abusive, stay on your own. Because we don't need you in our community. We've got enough crap going on without having to deal with your sorry ass. And I'm going to talk plain. Yeah, we need to be unified. We need to show a united front, and we need to raise up each other. And if we can't do that, then really we have no room for you in our community. Go and sort yourself out and then come back.
Okay, right. So people, we just starting the show. I sitting down listening to my sister.
Yeah, I'm not brethren now.
Nah, it's okay. Sister for now. When the show done, we can go back to brethren.
No, we're not going back to brethren unless you're a sister. Because if you call me brethren, I'ma call you sister.
Okay.
This is an equal opportunities disrespect.
Yeah, well, I'm not working with you calling me sister. None of that.
Then don't call me brethren, and we have no problem.
We are in an agreement.
Good, because you keep slipping, brother keeps slipping.
No. Yes. I'm just taking in what you're saying because I'm getting some flashbacks of things and people I see do things, and even some of the things what I've experienced myself. Yeah, the man them need to know. So well, what you do will affect your children. Absolutely, it will. Yeah, will affect them one way or another. Whether they say or not, it will affect them. You understand? And another man them out there who grow up into this thing will know say it affect them one way or another. and thing, and it's not a
so
good
we
thing.
have to break that cycle, because I was speaking, I won't name a very famous politician, and she was letting me know that actually, as she remembers, there was times when her father would say to his wife, her mother, come out the front and I'm with my friends, and the mother would go. And we don't, when we think back, some of the ways that our elders treated each other, or the man treated, abuse was way back then. We just didn't recognize it for what it is. Yeah, how can you, as a grown man, tell a grown woman with children that she can't be in there for, send her out like she's one puppy? These are, you know, or dinner's not on time, he gave her a small slap. What's a small slap? Am I your child? You're not supposed to slap me. You're not supposed to slap your woman. You're not supposed to put your hand on your woman for any reason.
Any reason. That's something that I definitely agree with.
And giving thanks.
As you said earlier on, a man who puts his hand on a woman is a coward.
He's an absolute coward.
Now, the Most High given us wisdom, yeah, and if you don't have the wisdom in you to know what to say to a woman when she does something that you can't tolerate,
yes, sir,
then that means, say, you don't even have no wisdom. That means you don't even know yourself. You're not. How can I put it? You're not on a level to say, well, the Most High is giving you wisdom. Learn how to use it. It's all
you're
about
not actually
using your
man
hands.
enough. The thing is, if we look at the African tradition of rites of passage, okay, you have to go through certain rituals and rites to be known as a man. If we're talking about age, this Western society says that when you're 18 you reach manhood, or when you reach your absolute at 21. My thing is this: when you become a man, you put away all childish things. When you have children, a woman or whatever, once you want to behave like a man, behave like a man. Some men are in their 60s, 70s, 80s, or even die being a boy because you not reached manhood yet. Because if your behavior is such that you think it's okay to behave, then I suggest that you are not a man, you are a boy.
So what you're saying is, if a man or a boy or a young man grows up and he's still on this thing where he has to lift his hand to a woman, yeah, that means he's still not a man. He's
not reached his majority. He's not a man. What, you know, this Western society will tell you you're 18, you're over 21, you're a man. Yeah. To me, I was blessed that my father was an upright black man. An upright African man will take care of his family, and he did. Yeah, and of course when we grow up, when we were growing up, we get little beating for when we don't behave ourselves. But you know that smack on the bottom.
That's called discipline.
It's discipline, but also when the system tells us we can't. I gave a conference today and I talked about when we were younger, how when we did something wrong and your parents going to tell you to go outside and pick the branch that they're going to beat you with, and the system was, oh no, that's abuse, whatever. And I had to tell them, listen, when I was going to school, teacher could hit me with a bat. The bat was thicker than the piece of little something that might, so is that not abuse? How come the teacher can do it? Headmaster can give me the cane or give me a bat, but my father disciplined me with a little something, and you want to call it abuse? Be consistent. Now, I don't actually subscribe to that kind of discipline anyway, because I think that my voice and my tone is enough to discipline my children. But if I need to tap them on their behind, they're going to know what's what. They're going to know what time it is, because there's no way that my children who are grown now, you're never going to tell me that my child came out and affected you in the community, because I raised them. And I have one son, and he knows if you ever put your hand on a woman or disrespected a woman, then you're going to have this woman to deal with. You know why? You always have a choice, and you have a choice to walk away. And I'm blessed to say that he's a big man, and we've never had to deal with that, because we taught. We, the parents, are responsible for showing and guiding. So back to the question, what do mothers do when they have children? Remember that your children are watching everything. And if your children are in the house and you remain there knowing that you're getting abused and you want to keep the family together, remember that you're perpetuating a cycle here. And you're teaching your girl children that this is acceptable, and you're teaching your boy children that this is acceptable. So no, you don't stay in that. Find a way out, and if you need help, the number, we'll give you the number again, or you find us Sista space SISTAH, because you know that's what we mean when we say sister. We're talking about the black way. So Sista space, and we're advisors, and we can always support you in anything. If you want to stay in a relationship, we can teach you how to remain in there safely. But if you want to distance yourself from an abuser, then we can also advise you. But you know, everybody has a right to live and live without fear. That's a human right.
Right. So what would you say to those women who are in abusive relationship where the woman turns to you have enough of them still, because I know some of them still, yeah, that when they're in this abusive relationship, they can't leave because they love the man?
You know, I love that question, because I often hear, well, why doesn't she just leave them?
I love
right?
you. Big black eye says he loves him.
Unfortunately, it just shows me how much of a victim they are. Because if you don't recognize that love is not supposed to hurt, yeah, or love is something that must be returned, because you may love him, but if he loved you, he would not be hurting you. So what we need to do is talk to those sisters and just show them what they clearly can't see. And then you have stages. You have pre-contemplation stage, contemplation stage, stage when they decide that they're going to move. Everybody moves at their own pace. For somebody who's not ready to even acknowledge that they're going through abuse, or not ready to leave the situation, then we think to ourselves, okay, how do we best support you if you're going to stay in that situation? That's what we need to think about. We're not going to be judging anybody for staying in an abusive relation. Our job is not to judge you, it's to help you. Okay? Otherwise, then, if we tell you get out, or if we tell you what to do, then how are we any different than the abuser? Do you understand what I mean? We need to be supporting you. We need to hear what you have to say. Some people have so much to lose. Immigration sometimes is an issue. Housing, finance, there's so many issues. People don't know where to start, who to talk to. Some people haven't accepted it, and some people don't want their family to know. There's so much to think of.
So can you give me an example of somebody that came to you and what you said to them to do? Because like you're saying a minute ago, some people don't know what love is. Some women as well, yeah. Even the man them too, yeah. It's not, love is not a thing that you can just read in a book and say this is what it is. It's a learning thing, and it's not an easy thing to learn. You know what I mean? But
I can give you examples. I'll give you one specifically, because we have a number of, I don't like to call them clients. We have a number of survivors, and what we realize is we have to take time with them. They've been through trauma. Some of them don't want to be truthful about what's even happening to them. So what Sista Space provides is just a space where you can come and just be with sisters and
go back to the abuse.
If they want to go back to the abuse, or if they choose to, it's very important that we don't become abusers by telling them what they should or shouldn't do. Okay. The only thing we can do is provide them with alternative solutions. We can provide support. We can be with them every step of the way. And sometimes it takes weeks, months to get them to a place where they realize, actually, this isn't how it's supposed to be. And for some, it's a quick process, but for others, it's a very long one. Okay? So what we do is we remain by their side, and slowly but surely,
like, you know, just be their brethren.
Be their brethren. You understand? Listen,
no,
me and you're gonna fall out. You know, the car. I can assure you, I'm 100% female.
No.
Yes.
All right. See, this is what I'm saying. A figure of speech is a figure of speech. Are you be their friend then? Yeah.
Okay. Well, you know, I like clarity.
Yeah, so you're gonna be their friend.
I'm not there to be their friend. I'm there to be their advisor or their support. Yeah, we are sistering. It's not everybody's looking for a friend. We have to also recognize boundaries. And because somebody comes to me and discloses abuse or not, because some people come to us and they're not ready to tell us yet. They just want to be around us, and in their own time they will say what it is. So I have to recognize boundaries. We are not friends. I'm your sister. Yeah, who knows, in time we might be friends, but right now I'm your support system. And we have to be clear about that, because people don't often come to us looking for a friend. They're looking for a solution. Yeah, and first of all, Sister Space reflects the people that we serve. Our very small venue has images that look like us. We have newspapers that we read, you know. We have herbal tea.
Okay.
You know, them small little things that make you know that you're with family. And most of all, we identify, because we know what it was like in your house, because we come from that same background. We know the things that you're struggling with in this system, because we also struggle with it. And wow, when we get together, how powerful are we? So they just need a soft place to fall. And then when they get their strength back, or when they're ready, then we can talk about, okay, so really what's happening with you? Do you want to talk about it? And they do in bits and pieces. We have to be very careful with their minds as well, because trauma is a funny thing. When people hold it in, sometimes it's what they call a survival tactic. And if they let it out, they will crash. So we have to manage that as well.
I was going to ask you about something similar to that. How does this domestic abuse affect the woman physically?
Wow.
Yeah.
Every case is different. We have
just give us an example. When I say every case, for an example, because people don't realize, you might just think, so, you're going to get a couple bruises and this and that, and you can recover from that. But the internal.
I'm going to give you two examples. One is the example of Valerie Ford, and most of you may know the name Valerie Ford, because at the end of 2014 she went to her abusive partner and she said to him, you're not contributing to the house, you're getting me into debt, you're abusive, you've got 3 months to find somewhere else to live. Okay. Now I think that to give somebody 3 months, 12 weeks is very generous, especially when they're abusive. The 3 months concluded on the 31st of March 2014. So Valerie woke up and she said to him, you have to leave today. And he said he didn't want to go. He said he had nowhere to go. So feeling that there's something that's going to go wrong, she rang her oldest daughter at work and left the line open. And then she said he keeps going up and down. Something's not right. And that was the last thing she said to her daughter, because her daughter heard her mum being murdered with a machete, screwdriver and a hammer. And then he turned around and he murdered his 23-month-old daughter as well. This is a Hackney case of Valerie Ford. Okay? So obviously when you ask about the impact with her, she's passed on. But the impact on her family, I can't even go into their lives. There's 3 children left behind. One at the stage was 15, I think one was 16, and the other one was about 27, the one that heard the murder. And their lives are changed forever. But let me give you examples of survivors who are alive. Some are in the mental hospital and we support them, because you can wear somebody down, they just can't take it. Yeah. Some have, we lost someone a few weeks ago through cancer. Now we cannot prove it, but we know that she was going through so much stress over the years through different domestic abuse. Stress, we think, causes the body to become unwell. She passed away at 35, yeah, leaving children. So it can manifest in so many different ways. We had a sister who, we weren't even at the Sister Space, we were just talking somewhere, and she took off her wrap and she showed me that she had about 6 locks left in her head. The rest had been pulled out. Then she took out dentures. I was so shocked. Every single one of her teeth had been knocked out one by one. She had 3 left. And then finally, do you know Brother Gladdywax? Gladdywax is a very good friend of mine. And we're master dancers. So sometimes when he performs, we'll go out and we'll back him. And a sister was in the car and she told me about her friend, a Rasta sister, and her brethren used to batter her like it was fashion. He used to do it regular. And when he beat her up, he would then tell her she had to get up and clean the house or get up and cook by the time he come back. So this time he beat her really badly, and she sat down and she had her hands on her head. And he went out for an hour and he come back and she was still sitting there. And he got mad. But when he went to her, she was dead. Yeah? So many deaths that the system will not tell you about in our community through domestic abuse. Deaths and serious injury.
Well, people, family listening, this is what you need to hear. We're also speaking on behalf of a lot of women that are going through this right now.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So this is the platform for us to talk. And women, you need to stand up for yourself. You know, you don't have to say your name, but you can send in a text or something, you know what I mean, and make that move, make that first step. You know what I mean? Can
I advise caution? Because when we say stand up for yourself, I'm advising caution because...
Without meaning go chop up the money.
No, not at all, but most deaths and serious injuries occur at the point when the woman decides to leave the relationship. Okay? You at your most vulnerable and at your most dangerous point when you decide to leave that relationship, because most relationships, most perpetrators are controlling, and the moment he thinks he's lost control, then a lot of you are in serious danger. So if you decide to leave, you have to do it very safely. You really need support and help in exiting. My advice to you, you alone know the person that you're living with, and so you know what level of danger you might be in, or you might not know. But my advice to you is don't challenge, don't walk out. If you're going to do it, try and do it, I'm sorry, when there's no danger or he's not home, or when you've... And we have ways to help you through it. But then again, a lot of people decide to stay in the relationship as well. And also, why should you leave? You didn't do anything wrong. He needs to leave. Because this system also takes women out of their house and puts them in a refuge. Sometimes it's safety, but sometimes the flipping perpetrator needs to leave the house. Why should I disrupt my house, my school, my this, my that? Because of something he did. Let him come out of the house. But, you know, every case is different, and it's not always that straightforward. So what we do urge is that you get advice. And most of you will know someone who you know or suspect is going through domestic abuse. And you say, you know what, let me mind my own business. Don't mind your own business. We are our sister's keepers.
Yeah, but they can say something and make it worse. Sometimes women can get involved and say, that's my friend, don't you touch her.
We don't advocate that at all.
No, but some women try to back their friends.
Well, well done for trying to back them.
No, but there's a right way and a wrong way, because you can make it even worse.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So although we love our sisters and things, there's a right way to do it. So, you know what I mean? The sister space is there to help you to use the right path to resolve this situation, instead of just going out there lashing, that's my brother, you touch her, you see what, none of that. Because when she goes home, she and the man is alone again. She's in more danger. You're absolutely right. But you know, there's something you can do. I know a lot of us don't like to deal with police, but I'm very sorry. But if it comes to life and death, I'm going to the police. Because as far as I'm concerned, if you're battering my sister, then I owe you no allegiance. I owe you nothing. You don't be... From that point where you can destroy one of us like that, then I no longer have allegiance to you. And as far as I'm concerned, you're worse than Babylon, because you know better and you should do better. So what we say is, there is this thing called a welfare check. And you can go to the police or any organisation and say, I suspect this person is in danger. And you can be anonymous, but you can ask them to do a welfare check, and they're obliged to go, and they should question the person separately. Because obviously, if you're talking to the woman, if anything's wrong, if the guy's in the room, she's not going to say what it is. So they should know how to deal with the situation. But don't leave your family, your friend, or your sister to die or to get seriously hurt, because eventually this is a very strong likelihood. So, listeners, you're listening to Bless Radio. Number to get you through, to send a text or something, because this is a serious discussion, and I know what you're like with serious discussion. You just like to listen and see what you can get information as much as you can. Not 079 444 31366. Yeah, I'll give you the number again. Yeah, which is 079 444
079 444
313
313
66. Big shout goes out to the Echo.
Can I big up Still Shiva Guy's newborn? Can I big up my family and everything? Can I big up Sister Judah, Sister Joseph, and all the Sister Roseanne. They are our volunteers. Sister Judith Jacob, I know that I'm appearing on your program tomorrow, but most of all, big up all of you who are listening. Right, please, I think we're going to go for a short break in a minute. Please call your friends and your colleagues and whatever, and get them to tune in. This is very important. This can save lives.
Right, and the show will be available for you to listen to as well. At the end of the show, we're going to tell you where you can actually go and download the show or listen to the show, because the information there is very important, you know what I mean? And I'm glad I'm taking part in the show, because I could speak to some of the man them who is doing some of this thing and don't realize where it will lead to, you know. A man, or some of the man them, or some of the youngsters out there saying, yeah man, a man a big man, a man and this and that. But you will never be a man until you learn how to respect your black woman, right?
And so we're talking about healthy relationships, and if I may, I'm fortunate enough to be in a very healthy relationship where the brother that I walk with respects me, and I am able to be my fullness. But likewise, I respect him, and he is able to be his fullness. And it's a joint. I mean, we have to work together. Nobody needs to be higher than the other one. You know, we have to show love, because outside our community, we've got so much people that don't like us as African heritage people. I think we must be among the most disrespected people on the planet. Yeah. So once we know that we have enemies outside, why don't we just firm up within? Find out. Think about what you think a healthy relationship should look like. My brethren, don't swear at me. I won't tolerate. I don't swear at him. These things I don't tolerate. I'm very clear going in what is acceptable and what isn't. And I think a lot of sisters need to think about, okay, what is acceptable and what isn't? And don't take less than you know you need to. We have young women, we have our children, our nieces, our nephews, we have people watching us and mimicking our behavior. Therefore, set the standard. Set the standard. For
real. So youngers and young people who are, if you got a girl out there or a woman out there, and sometimes sometimes it just happens, yeah. When I say it just happens, yeah, sometimes you can't understand what she's saying, or sometimes she's saying certain things, or sometimes she's not even listening to what you're saying, and you might get angry and want to lash out and thing. But as you go through life, you're going to learn for yourself, for you to be that man, the real man, yeah, physically, mentally and spiritually. You have to know how to deal with these things. You know what I mean? You have to know, say you have, as I said earlier on, which is wisdom, but you don't use it. You know what I mean? So because of when a woman lashes out to you, because you lack wisdom, you use the only thing that you can do, which is your two fists. That's because some people who use their fists to deal with a woman is because they don't have it in their head. They don't have the information in their head.
Control yourself. I think that's a nice way to say it. Control yourself. When you go to the bank and you ask the bank manager for a loan, it is that simple.
No,
can I just tell you why? You go to the bank, you ask the bank manager for a loan. He tells you no. You don't shut in my box. Yeah. So you can control who you attack and who you don't attack. You have to be responsible for yourself. That is it. It's as simple as that. Now I know people are writing in, and I'm gonna. When we go for a break, I'm going to get my glasses, I'm going to look and I'm going to respond, right? But I encourage you to write in. But the fact is, everybody must be responsible for themselves. You don't go outside without no trousers on or whatever, which will indicate that there's something wrong with you. You have the power to control yourself. You don't hit yourself, so you have some sort of control. Use it.
All right. Sometimes... No. Right? No, I'm telling you, because man's been there in the past, so man know.
We're going in, you know. We're going in right now. We're going in, because I feel so you're saying sometimes it happens. No!
No. You have to hear what I'm saying, man.
Let me hear it.
Right. Sometimes it happens. And when I say that, I'm not supporting what the man them do. Yeah. But sometimes a woman will say certain things, yeah, especially when they're showing a man that he's wrong, especially when a man is wrong, yeah. Or sometimes the woman will say something to a man and it might just get to them, and like man might have this ego thing, like, who you think you're talking to? You know what I mean? and they will lash out just because of the way the woman's talking to them, which is wrong. You know what I mean?
It's more than wrong.
Yeah, I know, but these are some of the things that happens. It's not
But
just like a man.
we have to be very careful, because I think this is where we start to go wrong. We're almost saying it happens sometimes.
No, I'm not agreeing with it. I'm just trying to say
not.
to the man them basically who do these things, or who it does happen to. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Sometimes it happens, doesn't make it right. That means you need to check yourself. You know what I mean? Because for any woman to make you, I put it like this.
No, hang on. No woman can make you do anything. This language is very important.
No, that's how I'm saying it. If you want to block it down your way, you'll block it down your way.
I have
I'm
to.
I'm just saying, well, if any woman that can make you think about picking up your hands, when it even comes to your mind, hey, yo, she don't shut up, I'm gonna do her something. If a woman makes you think that, yeah, then automatically
I respect you.
Automatically you need to realize you have a problem.
I respect you because we need you to be saying these things, but I am obliged to say that a woman cannot make you do anything.
Yeah, I understand that.
I understand what you're saying.
Sometimes that's how some man see it.
Yeah, but because we've got listeners,
said that, I wouldn't have this. If she never said that, I wouldn't have that.
So you're not taking responsibility.
So it's not taking responsibility.
You're putting your responsibility on the victim, and it's not right. So I do understand what you're saying.
That's why I have to say it like that, so that because that's how some of the man them see it. So you're speaking the
language that we speak on road. I understand.
Some of the man them see like she never said it's not about if she never. You understand? And that's what we tend to do. You understand?
Yeah. So for clarification,
so we need to realize, and I said again, if a woman makes you think that you have to puts you to a point where you have to lift up your hand, or you know what,
we need to change the language. We definitely need to change the language, because I'm hearing what you're saying, but language is power. Words are powerful.
Yes.
And when you say if she makes you, I'm actually taking that point and saying, you need to understand as a man, if you see yourself as a man, understand that nobody can make you do anything. You have a choice. Nobody can make you do anything.
I know that, but that's sometimes when you see when the man them reasoning, that's what the man them is saying. Well, if she never, that's what, when we reason, that's like,
I understand that.
Carla.
I understand what you're saying.
Yes, sir.
Carla, yes,
okay.
sir.
Hi.
Yes, sir. Listen. You see what my lady is, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, she can hear me?
Yeah.
I can hear you very well, yes.
Listen, language is very important. I had that out with a counselor a few weeks ago.
Give thanks.
And they said I'm picking on words, but I said, to be clear, you have to understand the words what someone is saying to you.
Give thanks.
Yeah? So you can best approach that question. Right? Now, I understand what my man is saying, the way how he's put it for the man them to understand. Not for the man them out there, they do understand.
Yes.
Right? So they know what you're saying to them. We don't even have to put it the street way. Because a lot of them, they all go to school. They understand. As the program is aired, we have to teach them.
Yes.
Right? Instead of putting it their way, put it the right way.
More love.
Teaching them.
Respect.
And
absolute respect.
At all. And I always have this thing where anything a man do, man as in man and woman, they're responsible for whatever you say, whatever you do.
Wonderful. What's it? Do you mind saying your name, brother?
Friday, I was talking to a counselor last week Friday. And this is a counselor I'm talking to who should know better. And I have to be telling her that anything I do, I have to hold my hand up to it.
Come on.
And anything that I do to somebody, they don't let me do it. That's my choice.
Yes. Yes. You're a king. This is the kind of brother that needs to be talking to other brothers.
Yes, I. But as I said, brethren, when the man is talking and there's no woman there, that's what a man will say. The man will say, why is she pointing the finger at her? You know what I'm saying?
They will say that, but because it's been aired and a lot of them are listening,
that's right.
Then we have to do it the right way.
That's right.
Yeah.
When we meet them on the street, we can break it down for them to understand if they don't understand the way it's been taught.
You know, you're saving lives right now with your words. Yourself, brother, as well. I met this brother on Sunday at Jean's African Market, and we got into a real strong debate. And I have so much respect for you, brother Bless. I have so much
And
respect for you
likewise,
because
I have respect for you too, sister.
so even though you hear us bantering in the studio, we've met such a short time ago, but we've come such a long way because I have learned from him and he has learned from me, and we're both learning from you, my king. Yeah. And so I give thanks for you taking the time to call it in, because what you're saying is so powerful. Words have power. Okay.
I don't mean to cut you, but I hear you use an example earlier. Yeah. And that is the effect of abuse has gone further than even just the family.
Yes.
Yeah, it spill over into friends as well.
Into the community, yes.
Yes, because I'm a victim of that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but because of how I am,
yes,
I don't let it affect me for me to react in a negative way.
More power to you.
Right? And there's one thing that I try to bring across to the youths that I talk to all the time is love is a powerful thing.
It really is.
And you see, when you have your queen, you make her a queen because you're a king.
Absolutely.
So the way how you deal with her, the love that you bestow upon her, she's going to give it back to you.
Come on, we need to hear
think about
you.
her,
Yeah.
she about you.
Yes.
Yeah. So when somebody said, "Yeah, I want a queen for complete," no, you find one. Try and complete her. You can't, but try and complete her. And
well, I'd go so far as to say, caller, that they should complete their self, because if you don't know self, you can't grow with anybody else. It starts with self. It absolutely starts with self.
Because if you don't respect yourself,
there you go.
How are you going to respect others?
Absolutely.
Well, as it says,
you're not going to show respect to others.
You respect
the
unto
time
yourself.
you respect yourself, when let's put it this way: if the woman starts saying something and you think you don't like it, the respect you have for yourself is going to make you say, "You know what, sis?
Absolutely.
I'll go for a little walk."
There you go. Simple.
Right? Simple. That's
It's
my word. Simple.
You're giving me hope, you know. Let me tell you, I don't know who you are, but you've just raised you just raised me up, because I know that there are brothers out there. We just don't hear about them. There are brothers out there.
There's lots of us.
Yes.
I should use the term us. There's lots of us out there.
And I'm giving no. Sisters, are you hearing this? Sisters, are you hearing this? I just want to check in. Just give us a sign, either text or give a heart or something. If you're hearing that, we're hearing about the brothers who are not doing the right thing, but there are so many brothers who are doing the right thing. And to those, I give the utmost, maximum respect.
Yes, brethren. So, brethren.
Yes, sir.
Yes, well, like how you're saying your story, you was the one that being true yourself and experienced something that's made you realize what go on, like your past or whatever it is. Sometimes we grow up in... Sometimes
that made me realize what's going on.
They make you realize, for example, now, sometimes we grow up in an environment and we become a certain way, which is not really us. It's just the environment has affected some of us in such a way that we think what we see outside going on, we can also do the same thing to our girl. Yeah, some of us has been brought up in an environment like myself. I was brought up in an environment where I used to see this every day in the pubs, in the this, in the that. It was, you know what I mean, as going out there doing certain works.
Was as well.
Right, so that makes you no one doesn't. When I was growing up, no one ever taught me about respecting this and that. And all I see is man out there doing some damage to women. Yeah, and when you're trying to stop it and think, they're turning on you, and you're saying, well, why?
Hi, Maureen.
Yeah, so when you get brought up like this, you have to look
Can I ask a question, yeah?
Yeah.
When you say you were brought up in that environment, I was brought up in that environment as well, but my question is, right from wrong, teach how to love, respect your elders. I don't know if you grew up with your mom.
Yeah.
Did she teach you them things?
Yeah, we was taught up in those things, but I'm just saying the environment can sometimes affect you.
Okay. But the environment is not your knowledge.
No, but you see...
Your knowledge is what's been instilled in you with your mom. Like myself, I was brought up with my brother by my mom, no dad.
Can I intervene here? We all come from different paths to reach this road where we are today. We can't really go into personal experiences, but I do accept that some of us don't get to have the nurturing that others have. Some of us come up in the system, some of us are dragged up, so all of these things. But what I'm saying is that there comes a point where you have to be responsible as an adult, if you will, to say, look, let me look inside myself. I'm causing damage, or something at some point has to give, and then you can't start blaming your upbringing. You have to now say, I'm responsible for how I go forward.
Yeah, it has to give at some point.
This is why we have to teach them.
Yes.
This is why we have to teach them, because when they're teenage, 14, age where if they didn't learn it, we need to grab them and teach them.
It's not too late, because even you're teaching now.
Yeah.
You're both we're all here now having a conversation.
From different experience. That's why my experience is slightly different to your experience. Every man's experience is different. So when I explain a certain thing, and not to say I agree with it, but there's enough man them out there who's going through the same thing today.
Definitely.
You see what I'm saying? So they have to say, but you don't know what man's been through. You haven't been there. Separation. Enough of us has been there. And we find out we knew what was right and wrong, but we just got caught up in this thing. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, you have to come out of it.
The first thing you have to do is stop. You have to be still. At some point in all of our lives, you have to be still and look at where you have come from, where you are, and where you intend to go. Yeah, that's the bottom line. You can't be at 50. Saying, well, when I was 16, this happened. No, at some point, from you say you're taking on a wife or a girlfriend, or you're having children, you have a responsibility to whatever needs to be adjusted in your life. You need to be responsible for it. I think too often we permit excuses, and I've come to the stage in my life where I say, listen, I respect that you've been down this road and this road and that road, but what you've been through shouldn't impact on me or mine. Yeah? If you are not able to have a healthy relationship, I beg you stay by yourself. Don't break the community.
How can you hurt what you love?
There you go.
True love is true love is unconditional. Just like how if a stranger try and hurt your girlfriend, you would want to lick off his head.
I hear you.
That is love. So therefore, you shouldn't even look to her. If you say something and it offend her, you're supposed to feel so bad. Because you say, that's my precious, that's my queen. And I love her.
You're just making me feel so happy right now. I mean, it's like...
But then it shouldn't be, because the man, them were like the bomb picking at them face. Who do it? Not the woman same way. I make him face look nice. So when them go on the street, other people look and say, boy, I'm face and skin look nice. The woman has set him up. Unconditional love. Not supposed to come with love, not supposed to come with conditions.
I mean...
And that's how I work it out.
As has been pointed out to me, I'm loving what you're saying, brethren. I mean, and I give thanks for your contribution. It is powerful and it is necessary. The thing is, as we're here discussing in the studio, some people wake up at 18, some people wake up at 30, some people don't wake up. Okay? So we're going to be having these conversations, but I know that if you are out there, then brethren, then I know that there are others out there who we don't see them
out there.
But
I know?
It's so encouraging.
Because I talk to them.
So
and
fantastic.
They used to have this group. It's Pampering Club. Don't know if you ever heard of it. It's been around. It's a women organization. But everything they do themselves. Discussions like these, any event, they do it themselves, and they invite men as well.
Brother, we
other men.
We don't want to put you in a compromising permission. You may not want to say who you are, but we're discussing that it is necessary that whoever you are, that maybe one day we meet somewhere or somehow, because when we find brothers like yourself, when we hear brothers like yourself, we want to keep them close.
Yes, keep them close.
You know, so if you don't mind, at some point after the session, if you don't want to say who you are, then please get in touch with Bless directly and just You know, because you're saving lives. I mean, you probably, I don't know how many people are listening, but if one person heard you, I know that one person will go away and think, you know what, this, maybe they don't have a father guidance or a brother guidance. Maybe they, I don't know what their situation is. But you see that you've taken the time to ring. I mean, that shows love. So I may not know who you are in the physical sense, but I damn well know who you are in the spiritual sense, and I give thanks for your call.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yes, brethren, if you want to give out any information about any projects that you're going to be at, or any projects that is connected to what we're talking about, so that the young man them can have somebody to talk to. Some man them is out there doing this and they don't want to do it, but they just, it is what it is, so, as they would say it. It just is what it is. You understand? So we need the is what it is man them to find some other avenue to talk to man them like you, or man them like me, or man them who knows the thing. And come out of the thing and realize, yo, love is the ultimate power. But we need to show them what love is.
Yes.
Can I say at this point, first of all, can I just give a shout out to Maureen Gabriel, Annette Smith, and the others I can't really see too tough. I think Tanya, Heaven Sent Sawyers, and everybody who said hi. But I didn't begin my journey with domestic and sexual abuse. I'm known to most people through being in a group called Emashi, African Dance Group. That is my thing. Dance is my thing. I love reggae music, you see. My father was a sound man. The job I had before this, I was a marriage registrar. I just happened to find myself in this situation because it needs to be sorted out. So we don't have magic powers or magic solutions. I actually believe that everybody in the community has a duty to make sure that we live in a community that is safe for everybody. You know, so as I said, I really give thanks for those of you who are tuning in, and hi to everybody. But it would be good perhaps to just go for a break for a minute, listen to some music, and then we're going to go even deeper.
Yes,
call your people, because we're going in.
Right.
Yeah?
So people, family, listening, brethren, give thanks for your contribution.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And if there's anything that you're doing out there, or any projects that's going on where the younger ones them can go and listen to some good reasoning,
because we need you.
Yeah, this is what it's about as well. So give thanks for your card, brethren. Respect.
Yeah, respect.
Is he still there? Isn't he gone?
Well, he will hear it.
Him gone. Yeah, we'll hear it still.
I would like that we listen to one of Stushi's tunes, and then we're going to just take a 2-minute break, or few minutes break, while you listen to music, and I'll be right the way back.
All right. So you're listening to Bless Radio. Yeah. Today's show we're talking about
domestic and sexual abuse within the African heritage community.
Right. So when we forward again, we're gonna talk a little bit about the sexual abuse.
Absolutely.
Right,
sexual rape and sexual abuse are not always the same thing.
Yeah, because we're gonna talk about this. This topic is just basically what we're gonna be talking about for a little while.
Yes.
You understand? It's not just today and it done. You know what I mean? It's gonna be a long stretch out thing, because there's so much different types of abuse, as we talked about earlier on, even verbal abuse, you understand? And that's one of the things that the man them need to realize, how to talk to a woman, you know. What you put out is what you're going to get back, you know what I mean? So some women don't give you back what you're giving them because they're a lot more wiser and more conscious. Or because
they're scared, you know, because we know, most of us will know that, yes, a man will... some men will tell you what they want to tell you, and dare you open your mouth and say something back, you're losing 2 of your teeth. And you know, we need to relate to each other much better. I mean, you get more with honey, you get more results with sweetness. You know, one sweet word is stronger than 10 bad words. You know, and if we just think, you know, how many of you have gone to your partner and said, babes, I respect you, I rate you, here's a Mars bar or a marathon. They don't call it marathon again, it's Snickers, isn't it? You know, just not because it's her birthday, not because, just because. And that works both ways. You know, sometimes I always make sure that my partner knows that I think he's everything and then some, because he is, and because he makes me feel like I'm everything and then some. Once we nurture each other, once we start to take care of each other, other people start to be afraid, you know, because we're powerful when we're unified.
Okay, right. So we're going to play a tune. Right.
Stushi. Stushi. Reggae's newborn. UK artist who's taking the world by storm. She happens to be our patron as well. So, yeah, we're going to play that tune and just let us know what you think.
We're going to have a little break still. So, man, them, you know, as I say, you cannot get the best out of a woman if you're talking to her in a hostile way. If you want someone to love you, you know, you have to give them love, you know. And
you can't get the best out of yourself if you're behaving like a fool. I'm going to tell the truth.
Right, and you're going to get the best out of her if she's fearful of you. Yeah. When a woman is not frightened of you, she will open up to you.
Oh, and your life, both of your lives can be so enriched. Sometimes we're just caught up in this anger thing, or something outside, or the system outside might make you feel crazy.
Or just copying the man them on road, like influenced by other man them.
Whatever it is, whatever the thing is,
don't do it, brethren.
Don't bring it into the house and to bring it into the heart of the African community, which the female is. If you destroy the heart of the community, the female, you destroy your community, you destroy your children, you destroy yourself.
Right.
You know, so let's change things. Let's do something different.
Change the thing, man.
Have this dance on us, Stushi.
Yes. So we are going around. We're kings, African kings and queens. But brethren and sistren, then if you are African kings and queens, treat your woman like a queen.
Come on, and brothers.
Young woman, them treat your king man like a king.
Come on.
You understand? You know, when she comes home, I say, yo, I have to make sure my queen gets something to eat and thing. I'll take off.
There's no shame in that, you know.
Foot, whatever, massage, everything you have to do, treat her like a queen.
Oh, wow.
You understand what I'm saying? And then she will say, this man does everything for me, but he ain't no idiot. He's not no walk in the park. So I can treat him like a king too, because he's not doing it because himself. He's doing it because he loves. And he also wants her to treat him with love in return. You have to give love to get love, you know. You can't microwave this thing and think you're going to force a woman to love you or force a man to love you.
Lead by example. Your children are watching you.
And they're like sponges, as we know. So, people, we're going to play this tune
by
Stushi
and featuring Shanti Force, called Anointed. Listen to the words.
Okay, all right.
It's for those who try to step to us, but and I'm going to dedicate this to the brother that called in, if you're still listening, and to those who are listening
via internet,
via Bookface and other means. We're anointed. Listen to the words, Stushi and Shanti Force.
Yeah, big shout goes out to a boardroom in Barcelona. Bless up the Barcelona massive them. See you guys soon. All right, Stushi. Stush.
Know where me out, please. Hey, know where me out, yeah.
So lose them way, so we reroute them. Now turn my back on the real youth them. Do genuine, we recruit them. And all who watch out, we mute them.
Them no smoke, them no sick, them no have pink eye, but them yeah red, boy. Them a follow me, I lead, them a pray, and I grudge me for my man. Why? Them a say trap to me falling at that, but I am anointed, yeah. So I do a wait for me fall from the face. Them a go disappointed, sorry.
Tell them, still I see I pick me, no one see no gun. Job by my side and you not go see me run. And all them a go and me know better must come. Still she anointed and me I make the fire burn.
Them no smoke, them no sick, them no have pink eye, but them yeah red, boy. Them a follow me, I lead, them a pray, and I grudge me for my man. Why? Them a say trap to me falling at that, but I am anointed, yeah. So I do a wait for me fall from the face. Them a go disappointed, sorry.
Them no real, them a fear, them a carbon copy. Through them lives at them no one man a peace. You a eat your food and they will want stop it. Them want lock we out, but we don't have the key.
My ment is different, my ment is high. Their future stock minds looking kinda bright. You can put me in the dark, but I'll make it light. Whoa, them no smoke, them no sick, them no have pink eye, but them yeah red, boy. Them a follow me, I lead, them a pray, and I grudge me for my man. Why? Them a say trap to me falling at that, but I am anointed, yeah. So I do a wait for me fall from my face. Them a go disappointed, sorry. Them no smoke, them no sick, them no have pink eye, but them yeah red, boy. Them a follow me, I lead, them a pray, and I grudge me for my man. Why? Know where me out, please.
so we reroute them. Not turn my back on the real youth them. Lose genuine we regroup them. And all who watch out we mute them.
Why, yeah. Shanties to she, hey. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you.
All right. Right, people. We'll come back for, is this the one? Come. That's my selector, lady selector.
That's an interview.
All right, then. Well, then you be...
Hashtag.
Right, well, then you're supposed to know where it is, right?
Just put in Stushy hashtags. I don't know. I'm supposed to, but I don't know.
All right, so... Ash or hash?
Hashtag. HASH. TAG.
Right. Okay, we are just doing some little thing. Finding another tune from the same artist.
There's a tune that Stushy sang called Hashtag.
This one.
No. No. I mean, what you do, go into Stushy and play whatever you can find.
Stushy?
STUSHI.
No, which one is
Stushy Reggae's Newborn. It's not there. I can't see it.
It's not there.
Keep going down.
You see, you have to prepare these things before, you know. You can't make me work so hard, you know.
It's fine. I'm going to be chatting while you go ahead and do that and tell you that right, that's Stushy's
I'm
live
supposed to be
interview.
interviewing you, you know. You're
Okay, well go ahead.
me,
You interview me
Man,
and
you
I'll
got me
find
working, looking for things, but I don't mind. I don't mind.
Okay, so
Right.
she's there somewhere. Keep going down. Keep
All right.
going down.
All right. It's not there. Right. So you're gonna have to
Okay.
sing the song, yeah?
If I was to sing, you'd lose all of your that's Stushy. You can click on her and see what
No, but I
happens.
could sing, man. Sing. You know what I mean?
If I was to sing, everybody would leave the radio station immediately without delay.
Well, then sing. I want you to
Are
sing.
you really? You
Yeah.
really want me to sing?
Yeah, I want that. Yeah.
So you want
I want,
everyone to go?
yeah, I want to see how fast they can run.
Okay. Have you got your shoes on, guys? Okay.
No.
Let me do this.
No,
to the
don't
old-
sing. See, I'm not joking. I'm
La
joking.
wenche, la lori, la wenche, abisina. That's for my African dance ensemble who I know are watching. My, mami welelo, awela Gigi.
All right. If you want me to translate that in English, give me 5 missed calls.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Wela Gigi, mama
You
shake
see?
your body.
See, you don't want to know what it means, innit? But you have to call it. So anyway, back to the thing. Right, you ready for round 2?
Oh gosh,
You-
big up
did
there.
Did you go
Hi,
and drink some
everybody.
water?
I didn't drink no water because nobody ever offered me any water.
asked
I'm here dry.
Dry.
And nobody did even say, you know what, guys, here,
All right,
take
listen.
this,
I'm gonna go
something
and
or
get
the other.
Right, we don't want you dry up in here, right? And be
Hey, how
Sahara.
you doing?
Right,
Okay.
Nice it, Ringer.
Bingo.
All right. So before she quench the thirst, kind of, you know what?
You got water.
You gave it to me.
I didn't give it to you. Somebody gave it to me to give to you.
All right.
Love.
It's all love anyway.
I'm thirsty, you know.
I would have saved
Big
you something, you know,
thirsty.
but it quenched my thirst and that stopped my brain from shrinking after the nice conversation me and you are having. You
That's
know?
all right. I'll dehydrate here quietly.
Nah, can't work with it. People, the reason why I feel like this is not the show, you know, it's before the show. It's the conversation before the show.
Which
it's
was?
the conversation at the beginning of the show.
Which was?
My brain have to do some press ups and all these things because we had a certain reasoning, and I would not tell my brethren.
Which brethren? Which brethren? Are you referring to me?
You see? No,
see-
I'm talking to the listeners.
Okay, so this sister keeps calling me a brethren.
No, I'm trying to. Man thing. Ringer. I tell you something.
Oh, you're gonna bring back up? Okay, let's go.
No. It's just something I'm thinking about. Right. He's gonna need you to talk to him.
All right. Okay.
Oh, Red Dragon. You know what? They even turn up the phone. Rush Dragon. What go on?
Virgin, you two made for each other, Virgin. You're not going sweet now. You hear that?
Oh
Brethren, listen to me. Dragon, listen.
I don't want nobody box me down in our
No, I'm not a violent man.
Not you, your lady. This person Listen, dear sister, wherever you are, I am innocent.
The thing not normal, please.
But you know, it's good to have banter.
He feels my pain.
You haven't got no pain. You got water. I'm the one that's in pain because I've been here over an hour and you don't even say, wretch, take this
Jesus Almighty.
piece of fluid and try and do better.
All right, so people, Amazing Grace will save a wretch like them.
Amazing Grace shall always be my
That's why see, we don't know the wretch thing, but if you want to sing Amazing Grace, God, we'll save a wretch like you, like somebody.
God saved a wretch like you.
Me. Listen, that's another thing about that. But don't call yourself a wretch. I don't know who.
All I said was I'm thirsty.
All right.
All I said is I'm thirsty. And I go to my brother and I say, brother, can you help me please? And he winds up knocking me down on my knees.
Oh, no, that's not good.
Name that tune.
Anyway, that's not good at all.
What's that
Anyway,
tune?
just keep up the good works. It's blessed.
I don't know what
Giving
that tune
thanks,
is.
give thanks.
All right, Rasta.
Because you know, in the middle of
Look, I
this,
go and get you the water, because you know
I
why? When
beg.
you're drinking, you can't talk. No, you won't be able to talk while you're drinking, innit?
yes, nothing can stop me talking when I'm ready.
You can talk on the water.
Yeah.
You can get too much.
I'm a female. I'm multi-talented, and I can do more than one thing at once. Unlike, I'm only joking. I think it's important that even though this conversation is a very serious one, we must be able to have a light-hearted approach with each other, because we need balance. And I have so much respect for this brother, and I know he has respect for me, even though he seems to think I'm a brethren.
I think I saw you the other day.
You think you saw me the other day? I'm going to tell you something. Now look at you.
Yes. I love the way you say,
Where's my water?
it's coming. It's coming.
I dey cry. I dey cry.
No, the water's coming.
But yours is halfway finished.
You
but man,
gave me that. People, you see what happened? The Indian giver now. She gave me the water. Now she's complaining she don't have no
She
water. It was
being
in
the
your
cat's
hand
father.
first, you know. People.
are you ready?
Okay. All right. You ready?
Oh Lord.
You ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Right. We're gonna start before the water come, because I know say anyhow you drink that water and your thirst get quenched, I have another problem.
Shall I tell you something? I tell you how women are complicated, right? I tell you how women are really complicated. I'm not even thirsty. I just wanted to be.
All right.
Okay, they're speaking in code.
Yes. Yes.
Right, can you push that up? No, she's actually singing.
All right. Yes. So you want to hear this one?
Yes.
All right. Right. So today we're talking about domestic abuse. I didn't give out the number for you to text in. I didn't, did I?
And then pause it, because by the time you get round to it, this song going to finish.
Did I? No. Can you give out the number, please?
I don't even know my own number, much less yours. I remember there was an O in
You
there
want to give
somewhere.
out your number then?
Don't give out my number,
Because
please.
you don't know your number, so you
Yeah.
wouldn't know if I was giving it out anyway.
Okay, is it? Oh yeah, right. I know what it is because it's there. It's 079 444 31366. That's 079 444 31366.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Your water is coming.
Thank you very much. You see, this water is coming and all night it can't come. I would have died of thirst if I waited for this man to bring water for me. Hey! You the crazy.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to get a big piece of ice, yeah? And you can just have that as long as you want. That is water. Or how you want to deal with it, I don't know. But I know
Excuse me.
by the time... You see...
What cannot speak cannot lie. This man has water. He dey drink water, but his guests they toss.
I'm going to get you some ice. A big block of ice.
By then I would have just combusted into flames.
That's all right. That's all right. That would
It's
just,
all right, okay.
that would
warm
help.
up the studio, wouldn't it?
All right then.
Yeah.
All right. Do you want
Okay.
the water in a cup, glass, or spoon?
Have you got supermalt? Have you got supermalt and jollof rice?
Hey, Bridget, you
I'm
want to
hungry
spoil
and
it?
I'm thirsty.
Hey, Bridget, we're not spoiling you. We've got some back bread. You know
I
back bread.
want
Back bread.
some jollof rice.
Back bread with
supermalt.
with Nestle's milk.
Egg bread.
Yeah, remember them wonder people, back bread and Nestle's milk. That's what I will give you. That will quench your thirst.
I was born here. I'm sorry. Mine was like corned beef sandwiches or something like that.
Oh, you live in a luxury, bully beef.
Yes, them
Yeah,
times when I used to eat meat, I don't anymore, but
Okay,
yeah.
well, we was not as rich as you. We had to have bread and Nestle's milk.
That sounds like a feast.
What, you had bully beef?
No. It came out of a tin. Yours was fresh.
Nestle's milk come out of a tin as well. We didn't have a cow in our garden. All right, so then we can continue. Right, so people, don't worry about the commercial break. We always do this, and as I say, my
Sister. He's going to call me a brethren again.
you hear how I tone my voice though? You hear that?
Yeah, we're getting there.
You know what?
My hair is caught.
You see,
look
now
at
is
this.
my time. You see?
You know what it is? It's thirst.
That was karma.
Even my hair is
That was
thirsty.
karma.
No, it was necessity.
Alright, then listen. You talk. I'm gonna go and get you some water. Do you want it in a glass, cup, or a spoon?
Have you got supermalt? I don't want water. I don't want water.
You want supermalt?
I want supermalt.
Now you want me to spoil you?
Yes, aren't I worth? Are we talking about raising up the African heritage woman? Why should I have water when I can have supermalt? Supermalt.
Quasimodo.
Me or you?
No, that's the guy. The bill. She gave me water. Esmeralda.
Okay. No, I'm actually very. I'm
It's a
fine.
play,
I'm
it's a
just
Shakespeare
being.
play.
I'm being facetious. So.
All right.
Yes.
You know what? I'm quite enjoying this show because I know.
Thank you. Now this is a brother. Brother came and gave me some water. Thank you. This is how you treat a guest. Okay.
You see.
So first we pour a little water.
You see that security. I asked the staff to get
I'm going to
some
pour
water.
for the ancestors.
You wet up the floor.
No, it's in the bin.
I give you the water and you're just throwing it away. You're
Do you
not
not know
thirsty
about
then.
ancestors? But the ancestors must drink
You're
before
supposed
I
to throw
drink.
it in a plant pot.
No, you're supposed to just throw it. If I put it in the carpet,
All
you
right,
would have
then.
thrown me from
My
the
ancestors
building.
is sitting on that chair that you're on, right? So what you saying?
And my ancestor is standing over your head.
So, right then, that's cool. We're all right. So people, don't watch the banter in here. You
I
see
give
what
thanks. I give thanks.
Man ting.
You're going to start me off. You know you're going to start.
I know you got water now, so you're ready.
Yes.
Right, hold tight the security man them in the do you want some water over there, security? No, he wants to.
And then the brethren me bring to the studio, he's calling as his security, you know. You see how the brethren thing work? I don't get it.
You wouldn't get it. It's hard to. It's a man thing. You wouldn't understand.
I can take you both on verbally with my hand
Watch
tied behind
this.
my back and my foot in my mouth.
And
you
your
need
foot
more
in
than
your mouth.
Yes, you need more than one security.
You do gymnastics and you can fight
No,
at the
it's
same
not
time.
about that, you know. It's
On one leg.
the brain is mightier than the sword or whatever you are using. Yeah,
Okay,
I have right on my side.
We want to see you do this thing with your foot in your mouth, you know.
Where we going? Where we going? Where we going
You
with
just said it
this?
a minute ago. You said
Yeah,
that
I said I could. I didn't say I would.
Oh, we were looking forward to that, man. I
Nah.
had a video that would have gone straight up on you.
Look at this. Look at
You know
this
how much
thing now.
hits-
The man is going to scandal me.
I tell you, man, that would go viral.
I simply mean to say that you can call on the powers of your brethren, but I stand firm in my convictions. So it would take quite a few of you. You know, hear about, one slingshot. One slingshot.
Okay. Now, so, man, them, this is the type of woman you need in your household to keep things in order.
That's not strictly true.
No, trust me. And you don't even need no alarm on your house. You don't need no
Oh, wow.
CCTV. It all comes built in.
Can you see this? Can you see this man? Can you see this man? He's brought me here to disgrace me.
No, I'm just saying you're that strong.
Coco Hinkle,
You don't need no
yes,
CCTV.
Antoine.
All right, you want me to say the next line?
Yes.
No. All right, I'm going to play this one here by Stushi. Yeah? And then we're
Stushi
gonna-
is
Hey,
Reggae's
you know what?
newborn.
I just got to tell you something.
What?
The show done.
Oh, that's good.
You know, most of the time of the show you spend asking for water till the show done.
But did I get it?
Yes, you did.
Yeah, I got it at the end of the show.
All right, then listen. We could round up the thing properly because we want to talk about
This debate will continue, but yeah, let's just
We're
round
going to
up.
continue next week, but just round it up with the domestic thing. Give them some bullet points, and as I said, the brethren them. Is there anything that you're doing for? You see this thing? What you're doing? Yeah. What you call it again? Sister space.
Yes.
So what you say? We just do a brother space.
Well, okay, let me tell you what I'm doing for the brothers.
brethren
I'll tell you what I'm
space.
doing for the brothers.
Yeah.
I'm educating them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm showing them how to love the sisters. I'm showing them what they're doing wrong and what they need to adjust. That is what I'm doing for the brothers. Once I'm helping a sister, know that I'm helping a brother.
Yeah, yeah.
That just
So
goes
you
without
basically,
saying.
so basically, you don't even need to have a brethren space.
Well,
You like that one, then it brethren space.
well, you can create the brethren space.
Me,
You know,
me,
I wouldn't be so
the
facetious as
brother
to
that
say.
Pauline can create the brethren
No, I
space because
wouldn't
he
be-
seems to know. He's got the right energy for that as well.
He has,
and
but
the
also
experience.
so do you. I think that you're doing really good works with your radio station. I've got to applaud you because you're bringing it to international attention. Yeah, but yeah, I humbly accept. But I'm saying, let me raise you up, brother.
You're
for
gonna
the
raise
work,
me up?
for the work that you're doing. Yes, I commend you for the work that you're doing, for giving us a platform to speak, to hearing our voices. But let me.
I tell you, just give thanks to the Most High. I'm not really into that.
Oh, by praising you, I'm giving everything I do. I give thanks to the Most High.
Praise
Can
me.
I? I'm going to, because
No.
I think we're talking about raising up the brother.
Just give
yeah?
thanks to the Most High.
Yeah,
That's
and,
it. I'm quite happy
and
with
that's
that.
how I do that by raising up the king and the queens. I am giving thanks to the Most High. But let me just go back quickly before we end. Yeah.
Thing with
So
the
what
man
we
them.
talked about is domestic and sexual and abuse and rape in the African heritage community. We spoke about being clear about what domestic abuse is, and knowing that nobody has the right to put their hand on you, to verbally abuse you, to financially or otherwise abuse you, emotionally abuse you, or any other way. You have a right to be free from fear.
Yes.
I also
There shouldn't be no fear in
there
any
shouldn't
relationship.
be no fear.
No
That
fear
is
at
not a
all.
relationship. That is a dictatorship. And any man or woman who thinks it's okay to abuse somebody else in any other way, then I would even argue that you would call yourself a man or a woman. You are, in fact, I don't know what, I'll find something to define you. But you are not who you say you are. Yeah, and you need to check yourself. If you really think that you need to put somebody else down so that you can raise yourself up, then there's something wrong with you. There is no excuse for that kind of behavior. I would also make it clear that rape and sexual abuse is a serious offense, and that if you force yourself, even maybe you didn't hit, nobody needs to hit you or punch you or to be say that you are a victim of rape. If you did not consent and the person went ahead, then that is rape or sexual abuse. And the absence of no does not mean the presence of yes. You have a right to say no to sex, even if you're in a relationship. These things that you have to understand.
Okay.
So
Next week we're going to be talking about.
we're going to continue this
We're
conversation.
going to go into more of a depth of.
And
we're going to talk a little bit about the childhood and a lot of people who was brought up in this childhood.
We're going to talk
environment.
about childhood abuse as well, which is rife
Yeah.
in our community.
Yeah, because there's a lot of and we'll talk about that next week. But we're going to talk about things what happening in the childhood. Like there was a time when Babylon used to take our children and put them into care. You understand?
Yes, yes.
That was in the 70s and the 80s.
And the 90s and the
And the
it's
90s.
still happening.
They're still doing it today.
Yes.
Yeah, but a lot of you, some of you are not aware of what actually goes on that side of it. So.
And the effect that it can have
And
in
the
later
effect that it
years.
has
I
on
mean,
you,
we need
yeah.
to be having this. Is
You know
a
what I mean?
very difficult but very necessary conversation.
We're going to talk about this. We're going to talk about the first time I spent my night in a police station or prison lockup.
As a young child.
I
mean,
was 5 years old when this happened.
some of the injustices that have been
And-
done to African heritage children, I mean, it's a debate that we're going to have. So tell your friends, tune in. And for those of you who followed me on this book face thing, I give enough thanks.
Yeah, and next week, I see you guys.
Don't point at my book face family.
What do you mean?
Don't point at that.
Hey, yo, listen, let me tell you something.
Yo, you know. Yo, brethren.
Yo is a figure of speech.
It's a figure of your speech.
I never called you yo, you know.
Who did you address?
My gosh.
Who did you address when you said yeah? Was you talking to the water?
I was talking to the phone. I was talking to the phone. It's for real, you know. I think you're my sister somewhere along the line, and we've been apart so long. You just catch up now.
I'm
you
definitely your sister because you are definitely my brother.
Like, drink the water quick.
I'm going to drink the
You know
water.
how many
I've been
miles I went to
told.
get that water.
I've been told.
Yeah, drink the
Okay?
water. Drink
I
the
give
water.
thanks.
Name brand.
What? Pinhead?
I won't even advertise the name. You
You
see?
said it's name brand.
It's name brand. 8.5%.
I like
pH.
Marks and Spencer water just in case. When I'm coming back next week, make sure you got M&S. I don't know who Pinair is.
Marks and Spencer. Then I like the cheap water. It's alright. You know what I mean? It tastes like tap water, doesn't it?
It is tap bloody water.
At least you get water, innit?
What is what is true?
No,
you
it's
know?
not tap water. It's peanut. 8.5. It's alright. Anyway,
Next time, put
Right, people.
blackcurrant juice in there.
black currant juice. Do you want me to get it from Marks and Spencer's or Tesco?
Supermalt.
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 So people watch this next week. I will make sure she have the Supermalt.
Yeah,
the
you heard
Ribena,
him, right?
Ribena, water, ice,
Chocolate.
everything. Chocolate too?
Yeah.
Okay. What kind of chocolate? Laxative or?
Cadbury's. Cadbury's. I'll
Okay.
eat it, and you're the one that's going to have the
Okay,
laxative
we have some
problems.
root lax in now. Can give you them free.
You see abuse though. This
said
is not
chocolate.
domestic abuse.
You
This
said
is
chocolate.
This is stranger abuse. Okay.
You said
this
chocolate.
is stranger abuse because he wants to give my system problems, and I don't
No,
understand.
man, your system need it. I don't want to.
No.
You see what I mean?
You see,
All right. All right. May we continue?
we may.
You
And I went
You're
to
such
my
a,
brother.
You're such a polite person.
And
you know.
I said to
never
him,
met somebody
"Brother,
so
help me,
polite.
please. Change gonna come.
All right. People, family.
Oh yes, it will.
You see what happened when you drink the water? She starts singing all kind of things, you know. Anyway, people, thank you for your listening ears. We're going to do part 2 of this show next week, talking about the abuse and that. Hope you've learned something. We have a little bit of gimmick and thing, another thing, but at the end of the day, we have to talk the thing. Yeah, and because some of our sisters are still going through these things, and some of the man them is going through these things, which I'm going to tell you about some man them who I know who got physically battered by some women.
Not acceptable.
Not acceptable. Ladies, you must stop beat the man them.
And brothers, keep your hands to yourself.
Yes, even verbally, stop beating.
Emotionally, financially, any other way. We have to be good to each other. Thank you.
All right.
And good night.
Good night. Have a wonderful time. Blessed love.
myself